DSP cries it.
137 million?
Yes, and if I don't pay up, I'll go to jail for tax evasion. I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
Hello, and welcome to James, the Lester Express Line, where we get you now as fast as possible with DSP being grilled about his $5,000 a month business expense. What $5,000 business expense? That one. And actually $9,000 for July, but then $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, $4,000, just under $5,000, just over $5,000. Like, it averages out to about $5,000, actually a little bit more, but let's say $5,000 a month business expenses. Now, DSP is completely baffled by this. He doesn't know where these numbers come from. You, DSP, they come from you. Which is why, guess what? When you get audited and it turns out it's all bullshit, the tax attorney, tax accountant, tax professor, whatever you want to call him, doesn't get in trouble. Because the only numbers he has come from you. All the numbers he puts into whatever and then sends off to the IRS come from you. If you give him false information, that's not on him. Let's watch.
You know, you went through bankruptcy, right? And that's pretty public. You went through bankruptcy, and there was this the $5,000 business expense thing has been talked about by your detractors quite a bit. They say, what could you possibly be spending $5,000 on? Look, a month. You are a streamer who streams, by your own schedule. You're active.
Now, realistically, square footage of the office, part of the electric, because it's obviously electronics in there. Maybe 2 meals a month because you eat them on stream. You could write those off. Video games, but wait a minute. Everything's Game Pass, where your fans donate codes. So you're not buying those games. Trying to think of a game he's bought recently. That was Game Pass. Metroid. He finally bought a game. It was like $40. But he could also write off Game Pass, which is like, what, $10 a month, maybe? Although I think he has the more expensive version. Let's call it $20 a month. And obviously you write off the consoles, but that's a one-time expense. Not every single month. Let's know he doesn't do PlayStation Plus anymore. He lost that because I don't play the PlayStation enough for it to be useful. Let's see. So let's say 20 for Game Pass. He finally spent $40 on a game. That wasn't enough of Game Pass. Oh, there's $60. Square footage of the office, part of his electricity, 2 meals. You probably get $200, $300 worth of business expense a month. Not $5,000.
12 hours a day doing this, right? And there's.
And by your own admission, you said like you didn't fix the set at all. It's been just a shoddy set for most of your over a decade of doing this.
Thank you, Adam.
Right. So there's this whole like what do your business expenses look like? I mean, I've done this for a long time. The business expenses are your initial cost of setting up your camera, your lights, and that's about it. And then after that, it's your cost is your time. Yeah, is your time, right? And so walk me through, what does that look like? What is it specifically? There's this $5,000 business expense every month. So what is this?
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about things that came out publicly during a bankruptcy proceeding, correct?
Yes.
And I believe that the $5,000 a month number came off of, I believe it's from a tax return. Is that correct? That it was filed or the data? I'm trying to remember.
No, it is not from your tax return. This is from your bankruptcy. You submitted this during your bankruptcy to the judge. This is all part of your bankruptcy. Nothing to do with your tax return. Idiot.
Exactly where it came from. You guys probably know more than me because you've probably been inundated with this for 2 weeks. While I'm so far removed from this.
I want to hear it from you.
I think, again, I'm just speculating. I think what happened was when I filed for bankruptcy, a lot of information goes public. And so they look at a public filing. I guess there's certain information that's made public. I don't think it's all your tax returns. I think it's like 1 year's worth or something.
Once again, those are not your tax returns. Nothing to do with your tax returns. It's information you submitted.
And I guess there was a number that was thrown out there that it looks like Phil spends $5,000 a month on business expenses. Now, number one, I don't do my own taxes. I have a tax guy to do. I pay him to do it, okay? Here's what I can tell you, All right, I can tell you right now because I'm working on it right now for this year. What are considered expenses that a tax attorney wants to know you're spending every month? Geez, your mortgage, because if you work from home, I guess that's part of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tax guy, but your cost of your mortgage.
Only the square footage of the office that you work out of, not the entire mortgage.
All of your utility bills that apply to operating the business. Correct?
Hold on, Phil, you've been doing this for 17 years and you don't know what your business expenses are? You don't know what you get tax write-offs on and stuff? I mean, like...
Specifically, no, I don't. I give it all. I pay a lot of money to a tax guy. I have a giant, spreadsheet of data that I provide. They work it out because every year it's different. I get to feel the tax laws change and stuff, and they figure it out. I give them all the data. In fact, just got an email from a tax guy the other day. It's like, we still need this data for you for this year's tax filings. We need how much do you pay for utilities? What's your cost of internet this year? What's this? They need all that information. And
Oh yeah, he could write off the business line, not both lines, only the business internet line as a business expense. Forgot about that one.
Got to get them to, and then they do it. So, here's the thing. All right, everyone.
But again, they only use the numbers that he gives them. They don't pull these numbers out of thin air. So he tells them, like, I have a 480 square foot office. But in reality, he only has a 240 square foot office. Well, they don't know that. His tax guy is not going out there with a tape measurer measuring out his office. It's what he is told by DSP.
We're really going to get to the meat of it, is this stupid WWE champion bullshit, which I cannot wait to talk about it.
We'll get to that, but I want to stay on this for a minute. Like, just once again, walk me through this, because, like, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm trying to think through
while you're piecing it together, building that up. I just want to remind you, Phil, like you said at the beginning of this stream, you want this to be where people can go to finally, like, oh, you just go watch that video, right?
Yes.
I don't have to say it anymore. So like this, you said, like, what do we want to know? This isn't for us. This is for the people out there that are like, what about the $5,000 a month? So what about WWE champion, which we'll get into? Like, what about these things? So it's like, this is your chance to now say, all right, it was the freaking business expenses, whatever. I mean, it was the mortgage, it was this. I don't know if that's actually considered a tax write-off. I don't want you to get in trouble, but I don't know. It just feels.
No, and see, that's the thing. Again, when I went to that bankruptcy, oh my God, that was the craziest rigmarole, because my tax attorney, excuse me, not my tax attorney, I misspoke. My bankruptcy attorney had no idea what they were getting into with me being a public persona. And there were things you can do, I guess, to pretend it's online harassment, which they did. I tried to explain. They didn't really understand who I was or whatever. And so when all that went public, that was the most drama-filled bankruptcy hearing ever. The judge was inundated with thousands of messages from my haters about stuff. But anyway, let me answer the question first, and then we can get to anything you want to talk about there. I would assume that the expenses are including everything that I do. Okay, that's related to the business, and that could include mortgage, any insurance that I'm paying that relates to the business, health insurance.
What insurance are you paying? Renter's insurance? Wait, no, you own the home, so it's not renter's insurance. I don't even think that would be a business expense anyways.
Insurance and or medical costs.
How would health insurance be a business expense? Makes no sense.
Legal costs, and that what I'm talking about is my tax attorney, but also other attorney and things that I've been involved in over the years, which maybe we will get into that today, or maybe we won't. I really can't talk too much about certain things. We'll get to that, about identity theft and stuff. I know it's the first time I ever mentioned that, you guys. So, among other things, all the normal things in a month. Like I said, utilities and all of that. It adds it up. Here it is. Here's my tax return. All of a sudden, I'm being accused that was a lie or something. All right, here's what I can say, because I'm not going to sit here and go back to a 2010 tax return and say, here's what my accountant said or whatever.
Right.
This is from 2010. That's $5,000 a month.
Oh, excuse me. Did I say 2010? I meant 2020. That's totally my fault. I meant 2020. My bankruptcy was 2020. So I think the tax return that must be references like 2019, something like that. Okay. Here's what I know.
Once again, this is not tax return. This is what you filed in the bankruptcy court.
Because of the amount of trolling that happened to me, this judge that was involved in the bankruptcy hearing was attacked online with so much shit. I had to go into meeting after meeting with both my bankruptcy attorney and this judge. Hours of work. We went through line item by line item of all of my expenses. I had to explain to a judge who has no idea what live streaming is, the entire concept of being a live streamer, and showing every single expense and line item and rationalizing what it was to my business. This is this, right?
Like rationalizing the microtransactions that you were bringing up during the bankruptcy call. That you have microtransactions for your business. But you don't buy microtransactions. You don't buy microtransactions. Fuck, most of the time you don't even buy the DLC for games. The DLC ain't free, you ain't playing it.
You know, and it took so much work. At the end of the day, after all that extra work and time and money that had to be put into my bankruptcy, it went through. The judge understood. I showed them everything. If anyone should see line item by line item what my business expenses are, it should probably be the judge who's going to make a ruling on if I should be granted bankruptcy or not, right? That's the government, a government representative, correct? They saw it all. They went through all of it, and at the end of the day, they said this all makes sense. Approved.
Well, but in the vast majority of time, winners in bankruptcy experience like some sort of relief, right? Whatever the debt is that you were paying,
Like, say, $131,000 in credit card and business loans. But it's not a business. Don't forget that part.
it's gone, right? So why do you feel? So why do you have to go back to the well, going back to your audience, and ask your audience to crowdfund your content when you claim and you still say that nothing has really changed financially for you?
Because I'm still spending even more money now on WWE Champions. Imagine that.
Question. Thank you for asking it, because this is one of the ones I get hit with every day. We just talked about 2021 and what happened with Twitch. Okay, so the bankruptcy goes through around mid to late 2020. I'm relieved of all this revolving debt that I had in my name, but there's still debt that remains. There's still my mortgage. There's still my car payment. There's still taxes, and taxes is a big thing because for years there I was not able to pay my federal taxes properly, and
well,
you
couldn't pay them, or you didn't prepare to pay them properly. There's a difference. Because
I thought you hold on. I thought you said that you paid a guy to do your taxes.
I do, correct, to file the taxes.
Because I think the one thing that people need to understand is that you are acting as an independent contractor with YouTube and Twitch and whoever, right? So when you're paid, when somebody gives you $1 super chat, YouTube takes 30% of that, right? And so you get 70%. That 70% then needs to be taxed by Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam comes in and they take however much of that. So by the end of it, you could be getting anywhere between 50 cents of that or 35 cents of that, depending on what your revenue is for the year, and you're the tax brackets you're in. It sounds like,
and what state you're in, state of Washington has a business tax, but they don't have a personal income tax.
Like, Bill, that you didn't necessarily plan accordingly for that, and you didn't save your money to ultimately pay. And if you have
But I can't save my money, I got to spend it right away. Something he's actually said before.
Tax person to do this, a CPA, which is for any online creator, that's like the number one expense is having a CPA to do your taxes. That's the number one thing, because going through and that's extremely important. But your tax, like, has your tax person ever came to you and said, hey, you should probably prepay your taxes. You should be paying quarterly instead of having one big lump sum at the end of the year? Because it seems really irresponsible for somebody who works online and has done so for 17 years to have a tax person who hasn't suggested that and haven't had you prepaid.
Do not, please. That my tax guy is great.
Okay.
He I have an estimate of what I should be paying, not even quarterly, monthly. Like, basically, can I make this monthly payment? And some months I can easily make it no.
Yes, he is on a back tax payment plan that he pays monthly. That's not what Stuttering Craig is asking about. He's asking about you getting $11,000 in the month of March, and then paying a quarterly tax, or in your case, monthly tax on that. All right, well, I made $11,000. I should probably send $2,000 to Uncle Sam. Oh no, this month I only made $9,000. I better send $1,700 to Uncle Sam. That way, next April, taxes roll around, be like, all right, well, here's your expenses, here's your tax credit, here's this and that. And then here's what you sent over the year. Hey, DSP, you only owe the government $1,100. Yay, only $1,100. Congratulations. Instead, he pays nothing. He pays nothing. And then, next April, I owe like $32,000. Can you just put it on the back tax payment plan? Just make it go for another 2 years? Ack. Which they do. Which I know a lot of people are like, wait, what? The government's letting him do that? Yes. They want their tax money. They don't generally send people to jail for tax fraud or tax evasion unless it's in the millions, or they've been trying to get them something else, like, oh, I don't know, Al Capone did, and they couldn't. So it's like, right, fuck it. We get them on this. Yeah, normally we'd put them on a tax payment plan, but it's Al Capone. We got to get him for this. Only thing we can get him on. So yes, they want you to work. They want you to make money so you can pay them back what you owe.
No problem. And other months I can't.
Which is why he just
I have to
keeps
pay
putting
less,
it.
depending
But-
on the income that I made that month.
But that income is based off of your tax for that month is based, and your quarter and your year is based off of the revenue that you're making that month. So if
Exactly.
you make $10,000 that month, then you're going to be, then you prepay whatever, $2,000 in taxes, whatever, however much it is, right? So the money is already in your account. So why would you have trouble spending? Why would you have trouble with that? I'm really having a hard time following this, because if
Sure.
you have the money, it's either being spent
Because he spent it all on WWE Champions and DoorDash and Total Wine and now Street Fighter Duel.
before it's time to pay taxes, or I don't know. I don't know. Please walk me through it.
Whew, okay. So I have two revenue streams. One revenue stream is very much daily income that I get from my viewers, meaning like tips, let's say. Okay, that's pretty much tips on a stream. The other revenue stream is the other income that I get from YouTube. That's ad revenue, super chats, memberships, and all of that. Okay. Daily I get tips, and that essentially is the money that I'm using day to day to pay some bills, go grocery shopping, buy a new game for the stream coming up, all that kind of stuff. The YouTube money that comes in behind the scenes is what I use to do all my ongoing recurring payments, my mortgage, my car, health insurance payment or whatever. Here's what's happened, okay? The bankruptcy happens. Great. End of 2020, things are looking up. I'm actually getting more popular on Twitch. I'm starting to make good money. I announced to my audience in early 2021, hey guys, guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You guys are supporting me so much. The bankruptcy went through. It's looking like if you keep this going this year, not only for the first year in many years, because now the bankruptcy's over with, now I can pay all my taxes properly for the first time in a long time. Because, my problem is you have that much debt and everything. You can't, I couldn't do it. It was my fault. I was in financial ruin. All right, 2021, things are looking up. And then what happens? They get me kicked out of the Twitch partner program. They shut down other revenue streams for me that I can't really talk about. Later on that year, identity theft, which we might not get.
Like what? What other revenue were you getting? You were doing YouTube and Twitch. You stream on Twitch, uploading videos on YouTube. Are you talking about Patreon? Patreon still exists. You're still making money on Patreon. That wasn't taken away from you.
Today, I don't know if we talk about that. That's a huge one.
You clearly want to talk about it.
And we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, it cost me so much money to fix the identity theft thing. So now I went from I'm good to, I immediately have lost a revenue stream from Twitch. I have to go to YouTube. I'm making way less money on YouTube now than I was on.
But then you'd be able to pay your monthly tax bill or quarterly tax bill. Because like he's pointed out, it's not like, all right, DSP, you made $11,000 in March. You owe us $18,000. It's you made $11,000. You owe us $3,000. Taxes is a percentage of what you make. It's not like, all right, you owe us 18 grand. Oh, you didn't make 18 grand? Well, you still owe us 18 grand. It's you made 11. Well, you owe us 3. Oh no, you had a bad month. You only made 9. You owe us 2,400. Jackass.
On Twitch. All that money that was going to make everything even, I'm good to go now, is gone again.
Watch the full 5-hour Dark Side Phil interview and hit the subscribe button in the center of your screen to never miss a live episode of Side Scrollers Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Already subscribed, baby. And yeah, this is pretty much just me trying to advertise that interview and the side scrolls themselves, because this was fantastic. The entire time, like him being in front of two regular people, not pay pigs, not dents, not other lol cows, just in front of two other people that he can't lean a manual ban, that he can't. Yeah, shut the fuck up. I don't need that. Like he has to try and be on his best behavior. And he just couldn't do it. Man, he's been like, I'm trying to explain to you, like, you make 11,000, you owe them 3. Why didn't you say that 3,000? Well, I couldn't because I had too much debt. But you got that debt wiped out. Yeah, but then I lost Twitch. You didn't lose Twitch until several months later. And your monthly taxes that you're paying is on the back tax plan. They're talking about new tax. Not back tax, new tax. But he's not going to have that back tax paid off because he literally spends all of his money the second he gets it. He says so himself. He never saves anything. Dumbass. Well, that can let you guys go. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below, and have one hell of a day.